Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. It is Monday, um, and stress levels are rising. I've got a bunch of soft commitments out there, a bunch of bids that are kind of just floating in la la land. And this is really how it goes sometimes. I've been in this position many times in the past where you feel like you're like floundering. It is Monday morning. It's before 8 a.m. People need some time to like get into work mode during the week, and a lot can shake out this week. But um, it's always in these moments where all the second guessing, all the doubt, all the stuff starts coming up because stress is real. Overhead is real. It doesn't go away. And you got to figure out how to make it all work. One thing that uh, one thing that I've been like thinking about a lot over this weekend was, and I want to lean heavily on my previous life experience, uh, and that was so many years spent with the band, just touring and performing, and uh, it makes me think a lot about what my actual business model is. And okay, so for example, most contractors will meet a client, figure out what they want to have built, give them over a design and a price, they work it out, they build the job, they get paid, and then it's over. But you know, I realize that if I don't find a way for those jobs and stuff to keep paying me, then I have to keep grinding, and I have to keep the projects coming in. And if I'm going to be more selective about the projects that I want to have, um, then I need to really maximize my earning potential with those projects. Especially with how much time it takes to run a YouTube channel, and also build stuff, and also run a business, and also do the accounting and the taxes and all the stuff that comes along with being a business owner. There's just not enough, and trying really hard not to forget that I'm a dad and a husband, and that is why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I have to spend the time being those two things. Otherwise, all of this is for naught. Um, so with this YouTube channel, I think the goal here is like, and the more that I think about it, the more I realize that it's kind of going to be less. Yes, I'm a licensed contractor, but this business is more of like a media company. And by hiring Zane, who is going to be my new brand and like media coordinator, he's going to really help me figure out how to professionalize this channel and capture all the work that we do, and present it in a way that's palatable. And hopefully those assets that get produced, continue to earn us money long after we've built a project, right? This is one way of like maximizing our earning potential with it, while also staying realistic about manpower struggles. You know, basically, we originally, when I was like starting this business, I'm thinking in my head just like really rough numbers. Okay, let's just say the average deck that we're doing is around 50K. If we can get 10 projects done in a year, that means that we're grossing 500K. So that's doable. You can make that happen with 2 to 3 guys, and everyone eats, and the business makes profit. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than that, but then I start thinking like, well, that sounds like we're grinding, the three of us, a lot. And instead, I'd like to focus more on the the really fine craft of it, and um, delivering like perfect decks, and spending time documenting like the little things that we do to stand out or be unique in our deck builds. Um, so, um, leaning into all that, I've got to figure out what to do with my backdrop, and I want to build out like a kind of like a little set, and I'd like to get to a point where we maybe have a second chair in here, and we do some like longer form podcasts. I'd like to invite other deck builders, other construction folk, other entrepreneurs in, and hear about their journey, their process, how they operate their business, how they got their start, because all that stuff is really important and interesting to me. For instance, like developing a relationship with other deck builders in this area is really important to me. We're not necessarily competition. We live in San Diego County. There is plenty of fish in the sea and plenty of projects that need to get done. That no one can handle all of that at one time. But we're all like, if we're all in the same boat, we're all trying to achieve the same goal. The best thing to do is to lean in on those relationships and help each other out, share insight, understand each other's processes, and learning from each other. I know that there's a bunch of things that I could learn from companies like West Coast Deck, Captain Decks. There's a couple builders out here that I really pay attention to, and I watch how they operate. And obviously everybody's situation is different, and I try really hard not to compare, because that's a tough road right there. These guys are well established. They've got a good crew. They've got good marketing. They've got all their ducks in a row, for lack of a better term. And so I pay real close attention. That also brings me to like the thought process of like, how do I differentiate myself, but yet still try and achieve some of the same projects goals, some of the same caliber projects, but differentiate myself from what they're doing. They're operating at a much larger scale than I am. They have an established foothold in the market. And I want to try and do something a little differently. And so starting this company and kind of like trying to run it more like a media company, and the decks are kind of like a byproduct. Not to say that we don't wholly focus on the craft, but like I touched on earlier, we want to try and maximize our potential with our projects, earning potential, I mean. So I'm going to try and lean in heavily on this set. I need you guys to give me some ideas. Tell me what you'd like to see back there. I know that we're going to put in some deck boards. We're going to do some signage. We're going to get a nice comfy chair to sit in, and a couple other things to, like, I don't know, make the space look a little bit more professional and less like my work garage, where I harbor all my tools. But yeah, this week we've got to just try and stay in the shed, eyes focused forward, and try to keep moving that ball. All these soft commitments that I have, they stress me out, but I need like customer participation for me to arrive at a design and a finite number. And sometimes I'm finding that I have a difficult time getting to that point. And I realize that not every bid out there, I've been doing this long enough to know that like every bid you send out doesn't mean a job. And I kind of harbor my excitement when we're in discovery phase about a lot of projects, because if I had a nickel for every bid I put out there, I'd be a rich guy. So what am I gonna do this week? I don't know. We're gonna sit down right now and slam some coffee into me and figure out what the direction is. So maybe by this next time that we do one of these episodes, this set will be all built out, or at least better, a newer version of it. And slowly but surely, the few of you that are paying attention are going to start seeing this channel evolve. And thank you for sticking with me on this journey. And we'll have some more talking points, probably in a day or two. Figure out what we're gonna do for the next one. So thank you for paying attention. I appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one.